Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we will be sewing buttonholes, and then I'm going to show you how to sew on the button, and then we will put the button through the buttonhole. So this tutorial is going to be useful if you're just trying to sew up a button shirt. So it doesn't matter if it's adult size or a kid size, and the length of the buttons is completely up to you. I'm doing on this example, it's about 2 inches apart. So once you've got the placement right with your tool, then go ahead and mark it with the chalk, just like I did, and I marked it just like this. And then you're going to use this foot right here, depending on what your sewing machine has. So it looks similar to this one, and the buttons you're going to use are going to be placed in the slot in the back. My machine has a picture of all these different buttonholes that I can use. So I'm just gonna use the most basic one that we have here. And now I'm going to insert the buttonhole foot just like this, and you'll see that your button goes towards the back. And then you're gonna wanna push down this lever right here and make sure that it goes in between those two little notches right there, because that's what's going to determine how big you make the hole for your button. And then the green notch is going to line up with your chalk mark. And remember, wherever you place it, it's going to move to the back, and then it's going to move forward. See, I'll show you what I mean. See how it's moving towards the back. So just keep that in mind. And then right here, I have a solution. This front part is going to get caught on my collar. So I just put a little piece of cardboard underneath that flap so it doesn't get stuck on that collar piece. And see, you'll see what I mean. And so now, and that's only an issue for your top button. And now we're just going to let the machine kind of do its thing here, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, and now you can see the little hole right there. Sorry guys, it's black, so it's a little bit harder to see. But let's go ahead and do the next one. And you want to make sure the placement of this plastic foot is right there in between the sewing lines. And see how that lever is down? And so it's stuck in between those two notches on the sewing foot. And that tells it how big to make the hole. And then I will show you this next one from a different angle here. So I'm just going to speed this one up really quick. Okay, and then now let's move on to cutting the buttonholes. So right now I have just my really sharp scissors, my fray check, and a seam ripper, and I'm putting a needle in right here. And so you can use your seam ripper or some really sharp scissors, but that needle is just to help so that I don't cut through where the sewn edge is, if that makes any sense. And if you're finding this tutorial helpful so far, please give me a like and subscribe so you can see future videos just like this. Thank you. And right now I'm showing you the needle blocks it so that when I use my seam ripper, it doesn't cut through. See how the needle kind of hooks it? And then I'm going to put the fray check in it so that it stops fraying. And then I just make sure that the button is big enough and it goes through okay. So just pretend that these buttons are not added on yet. So you have your buttonholes right here, and you're going to place them over the placket, and you're just going to mark your chalk right there in the middle of your buttonhole. And then you're going to place your button onto that chalk. So let me show you. I'll proceed on this. So that's how I'm marking it on this dark fabric. You can't see the buttonholes too well on this, but I am just marking these in the middle where the buttonholes are. Now we are ready to put the buttons on. Make sure you drop your feed dogs so that those teeth are lowered. And then let's go over here. I'm going to first show you how to attach a button if you don't have a special button foot. So you're going to look up here and you can select your button hole, which is essentially a zigzag stitch. And come over here and you can put the foot down on the button, obviously put it exactly where you need it. And you can use that as your presser foot. So the presser foot all on its own will just hold the button in place, but I have to say it's probably kind of dangerous for your fingers, so I shouldn't really recommend it, but you can actually do it this way. But just remember, I'm completely not responsible for your fingers, so just keep that in mind. And now I will show you with the buttonhole feature, and I'm going to use this special button foot that I got, and this came with my sewing machine, so I'm sure you can get one just like this, like on Amazon or somewhere, and your button slides in between that area and it keeps it really nice and secure where you want it to be. So let me just go ahead and attach this onto my sewing machine, and you will see this is a much safer alternative, and you can keep your fingers out of the way. So I'm just lining it up, and I'm going to, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, well, I'll explain it again when I do this next button. So what I forgot to mention is when you're positioning your button, you want to make sure that the needle is going to go down and meet within those holes. Just turning the hand wheel right now, and as soon as I know where that needle is going, then I'm going to press on the pedal and stitch it in place. Going to repeat that again with this next one, and so I'm going to turn the hand wheel and make sure that those needles match in there, and then just like that. It's not very bad, but here we go. Let's just make sure it fits in the hole, and that's all you have to it. Now you're all set and you can start putting buttons on all of your shirts. And so I want to thank you so much for watching this tutorial. Please give me a thumbs up if you found this helpful, and you can also check out my other videos. Here's a playlist as well. So thank you so much for watching. Happy sewing. Bye guys.